the rights. It's my right to demonstrate.
Exactly.
Organize people for us to hit the streets and demonstrate.
Yes.
It's my right.
Exactly.
You've touched on the responsibilities. But are there people who think that, well, if I allow them to go on this demonstration, it's going to affect me in a way. It's going to paint me negative in a way. Yes. So they find ways and means of preventing the demonstration from happening. I'm asking this question because I heard some of the leaders of the organization say, even when they engaged with some of the police officers, they say order from above, order from above, order. And oftentimes we hear order from above. We never know who the above order is coming from. So it's my right. Why do people feel uncomfortable to allow me have express that right?
Yes. You see, if you look at the nature of demonstrations we have in this country over the period, Dave, most of them are not, for instance, issues of abortion rights. They are not issues of, let's say, general, kind of, issues that you say these things are basically maybe religious or maybe things that the whole community will come around it. Most of the demonstrations we have in the country are mostly politically motivated. And these are the political guys that go on the street to demonstrate. And most of the demonstrations they do, their real intent is to achieve some form of political capital. So if, for instance, the demonstrations against a certain government who thinks that, look, we are hard pressed, and therefore we wouldn't allow these people to go into, worsen our case in the sight of the public. Trust me, they are going to plant infiltrators in. They are going to get the police to frustrate you. They are going to use certain, judicial processes, as it were, to also frustrate you. So, though it is your right, so it is this kind of motivations that gets some of these, people trying to frustrate the demonstrators and being able to exercise their right. So for me, what we all have to understand is that protest and demonstrations are part of the democratic culture that we have to build. It is part of, the democracy that we all think we have to build. And therefore, we should be able to allow people to express themselves, in a very peaceful manner. Sometimes, the way the frustration is done, it makes it so obvious for people to now begin to read meanings into it. When people try to use legal gymnastics and all those things, it becomes so obvious. Once it becomes so obvious, the leaders and those people who buy into those kind of missions become agitated. And that is when they may also decide to plant their extremists and those people among the protesters.
So for you, how do we handle that bit?
Yes, I think that, look, once people decide to go on demonstration, from the leader's point of view, they should be able to secure the right permission to do that. Okay, they must go into a negotiated management with the police. And the police, you see, I always say that the police, we don't have anything to lose. Okay, or even to gain, I should say. Okay, because if somebody is going on a demonstration, policeman, what is your interest? Your interest is just to protect lives and property. You are not to look at it from a political point. And it's also because of the way we have politicized our security system and our security architecture, where we have political IGPs, we have political, commanders and all that. So once a government that comes into power, elect someone to be an IGP, at the very least, he thinks that he is accountable to that person. So any form of, issues in a form of demonstration and protest that will seek to give that kind of government a bad image, doesn't also go well for that person in charge of the security. And that is the problem we have. So if you listen to some of the protesters, at some point, the accusations were towards the IGP, that the IGP has allowed himself to be used by the president. I mean, if you are going for a demonstration that has to do with economic difficulties and all that, what has the IGP got to do with it? But, right from the start, because of that kind of suspicion and how even the legal gymnastics went, this suspicion was created. And therefore, instead of carrying out the message to the people, the police rather was seen as a target. And that is why you saw the kind of antagonism.
Do I sense the feeling that